Okay.
I don't see Commissioner Kuzma.
No, he's not attending tonight. He had an emergency.
Okay.
We ready, guys?
Yes.
Well, good evening, and I'd like to call this meeting of the Elizabeth Township Board of Commissioners on Monday, February 1st to order. If you could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Walk,
Here.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Excuse.
Commissioner Bekowitz, Commissioner Bekowitz. I actually don't see her.
I don't see her on there, Greg.
No. Okay. Commissioner Algieri,
Present.
Commissioner Roderick,
Here.
Commissioner Poirier,
Here.
President Rocco.
Here. So we're missing two. Thank you.
So
Uh,
do-
so-
I'm
do it.
sorry, Mr. President.
ahead.
Commissioner Beckwith she just texted me. I want to send her the link. She'll be on
Okay.
in a second.
Should I wait there or get started?
I think you could get started.
Okay. Again, I'd like to acknowledge that the commissioners had an executive session on January 27th where we discussed personnel and litigation issues. That was January 27th. Before we begin tonight, I'd just like to welcome you to this commissioners meeting. And as you can obviously recognize, we're still virtual. And the pandemic is still playing havoc, not only with our ability to meet in person, but if you noticed around the region, the court systems and the like are all still meeting, either not meeting at all or meeting virtually. So the virus is real. It continues to change as we've seen, and sure, as you know, and we will do all that we can to keep the public safe. And that's why we're going to use this virtual platform to meet. We've had this virtual forum to give citizens of the township an opportunity to speak on issues that are important to them. And as you notice in tonight's agenda, we've changed that public comment section. Now, the public can speak at the designated time at the beginning of the meeting on agenda or non-agenda items, and we welcome public comment. This change was made so that the concerns of the citizens would be heard at the meeting. And if any issue that is a concern can be addressed at that time, the board might be able to address it instead of waiting until the end of the meeting. We would ask, though, as in the past, to submit your questions and comments prior to the meeting, and we have had responses. So again, we appreciate that. On a couple of other things, I've had several calls from members of the community contacting me about the COVID vaccine, and I've tried to direct them to the proper sources for help. This has obviously been an issue with some of our residents thinking that we have enough management of some type of the COVID. I've directed them to the Pennsylvania Department of Health for information on their website. I've even gone so far as to call a couple of different agencies to assist some of our older residents. And especially those individuals do not have the internet and they're really relying on phone numbers. So, if you're still having trouble out there and you've not been able to get a vaccine, or if you're having difficulty, I would suggest calling or looking at the website for the Pennsylvania Department of Health. There are phone numbers there, or also contact your state representative, Representative Proskeric or Senator Brewster's office, and I'm sure that they can assist you as well. And again, if you have a question, we can help. We're here as well. And finally, I'd like to thank all of our employees of the township and the first responders. They have been working through this very, very difficult time. And we appreciate all of the members of the road crew, the police department, our fire department volunteers, our EMS staff, and of course, our office staff for their continued efforts to keep our community operating effectively and safely. I think we are very, very fortunate that we have these dedicated people helping us in this really unprecedented time. But I think it really shows the type of individuals we have working with us throughout the year. So again, I just wanted to start off by saying those few things. And at this time, I'd like to have John Snelson with a code officer enforcement report. Mr. Snelson.
He's running the show now.
Okay, the only thing I have at this time is work is still continuing on crafting and updating some ordinances, specifically the parking, fire safety, and the stormwater. We're hoping to get those out for you here as soon as possible.
Thank you. Any questions for code enforcement from any of the commissioners?
Hey, Scott, can you please mute? Thank you.
Trying, it's not popping up for me here.
Okay, KLH, engineers?
Thank you, Mr. President. You all have a written report, just a couple highlights. The Force Main project is going well. Both contractors, excuse me, are about halfway done. Actually, probably a little over halfway done, 56%. We had a progress meeting virtual today. Everything seems to be moving along well, and there are no issues. There are a couple change orders that were signed off on that are included in the pay requests this evening. They are minimal, and they were for some cross drain replacements per the RTC agreement. So they were taken care of and signed off on. The pump station project, we did have our mandatory pre-bid meeting, and I do want to publicly apologize to Greg and to John. There was a little bit of miscommunication on our part. I was out with COVID last week or the week before, and I actually didn't have a chance to communicate to them, and inadvertently forgot to tell them that we were holding the mandatory pre-bid meeting at the township building. And I wanted to publicly thank both of them for making the quick accommodations to make that, help us facilitate that, make that happen. And once again, apologize for the inconvenience. And Greg, I did get your email. I think one of the residents wanted to know, we actually had a really good turnout. There were about 44 people at the mandatory pre-bid. Some of those were multiple. From what I can see, there were some vendors and whatnot there, but we have about 32 contractors that are interested in the project. So there is a lot of interest, and I think we're going to get a lot of bids. So our bid opening is still scheduled for February 22nd. And we do have another call with Penvest on the financing, I believe, tomorrow at 2:00. That concludes my report. Unless there are any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Mowry? Thanks, John. I'm glad to see you're on the road to recovery there. All right.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Dave Messiosi, I think is Dave. Are you on tonight?
Yes.
Hi, Dave. I thought we'd put you on the agenda to share any report that you have for the township regarding the Force Main project.
Yeah, I'd emailed you a copy of a little PDF file there, just showing some progress photos of the project from basically the beginning to up to this point. As John had said, things seem to be going rather well, with a couple of minor issues which have been worked through. And it appears to be, as of this time, that they should meet their scheduled dates.
Good. And Dave, I'm not sure if you can see the screen, but Greg's put up some of those photos and overviews that you've submitted.
Yeah, those were the early portions of the project when the contractors were setting up staging and preparing access for this section here was Paris's section. Petrakis really didn't have much access requirements because they had road frontage to access their portion of the project. So this was down along the Henderson Road area. This here is done close to where the two contracts meet together, just showing some more staging, and they were stripping topsoil in preparation to for pipe installation. And the picture to the right is the fittings pile that they're using where bends are required and air relief valves are required. This is a portion of the site that they had to do some clearing and grubbing along the trail so they could access the alignment for the pipe. And the picture to the left is a dump area for the waste materials that they cleared. This is one of the slide areas that was cleaned up. The picture on the right, they were excavating the rock. They're reusing some of that rock in some of the areas of the slides that need to be rebuilt. That's durable enough rock to provide a foundation for the new fill slopes that they have to put above it. These are just some slides that had some cleanup that were required from material coming down from the top of the hillsides. This here is a portion of some pipe installations that were done around some of the existing culverts and some of the line work. These are areas that were restored, rough graded, let's say, once the weather breaks and the final grading and seeding will be done. I think that was it.
Great, John. Thanks for, or Dave, thanks for sharing that. And Greg, appreciate you running that. Any questions for Dave? That was very helpful.
No, just a comment. Just a comment, President Rocco. I've had a couple residents with a few minor issues, and I would like to thank Dave for taking care of those promptly and working with the resident and contractors and bridging that gap and getting everything taken care of exponentially. So thanks again, Dave.
No problem.
Okay, if there are not any other questions. Chief Simba, your report, please, sir.
I don't have anything actually. I have one thing other than my monthly report that you guys have. So I know, Dr. Rocco, that you were going to bring this up, sir, about the intersection of Simpson Howell and Scenery Drive. So I'll bring it up first because I talked to Ollie last week and I actually sat there. His complaint was of nobody using our turn signals when we're coming up Scenery Drive to make the left on Simpson Howell. So, I mean, this intersection, as you well know, has been a problem for years and years and years. And no matter how much signage we put up there, people just don't seem to pay attention to signage. I don't know if it's necessarily they don't pay attention or they just don't care. So when I sat there Friday, it was probably 75% of people use our turn signal showing that they're going to turn left onto Simpson Howell and probably 25 don't. So I honestly think it's just an enforcement issue for us to get out there and start enforcing that. Not so much enforcement, but more like educating the public that they need to use our turn signal, the importance of them using our turn signal upper. So that's what I intend on having my guys do for the next couple of weeks or so, just sit up there and monitor and see what we can do with traffic stops and educating the public that they need to use our turn signal there. So
thanks, Chief. Jared and I talked too, and I thought, Greg, did you have some things that indicated that the state and the county, maybe we could have a conversation with them about looking at that intersection or not?
Yeah, one of the representatives. Now, I don't know these guys too well, but one of them called me and stated that he had received a complaint about that same intersection. So he was going to arrange. He was with PennDOT. He was going to arrange a meeting with the county, and so the township, county, and PennDOT could all get together. And he said he had some ideas for solutions that we could start to,
if I can jump in here for a second, that was already done. Actually, Huntley and Olympus now, but they had actually offered to redesign that entire intersection because they were using it for the well traffic, and they actually had an engineer do several different options of changing that, one of them being a four-way intersection. I mean, they did all kind of engineering. The county and PennDOT and the township met, and all of the proposals were rejected for one reason or another. So, I'm not real hopeful that it can be done there. I hope it can, but again, I don't want to get anyone's hopes up because that meeting happened probably 3 years ago. And again, there were several designs that were all rejected, unfortunately. So
Thanks for Mr. Coon for that information. That's
And, has this intersection become a problem as far as vehicular accidents? Or is it uncommon or common there?
I would say it's probably about the same as what we faced out at Round Hill in 48, to be honest with you.
So the answer then is it's a pretty high area for accidents.
Yeah, it is.
And the accidents around Hill have sort of obviously they've been minimized by making that a four-way, correct, Chief?
I'd estimate they dropped by 95%, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that was a good.
Yeah.
I wish it was that simple though, Bart. There were issues. Again, I'm sure Greg, maybe if you went back into some of the files on it from that meeting and the engineering plans, the comments, yeah, there were various reasons why they couldn't do those things. I can't remember offhand because it was so long ago, but again, we tried to explore every single possibility that we could as far as eliminating, because I was really concerned obviously with a lot, with that truck traffic up there for the well. So we tried to do everything we could, but it just wasn't that easy, unfortunately.
Got it. Thanks again. We'll continue again, and Chief, I appreciate your help on that and looking into it. And again, thanks for your service and please extend our appreciation to the other officers on the force. Public Works, Paul, any report?
I sent my written report in. Greg handled that for me. The only thing I have on top of that is last couple of days, a lot of guys are complaining about the on-street parking. We're into February and people are still parked all over the streets, and it's getting kind of tough to get around with especially with a plow on. The only ones that that I have a big complaint on, if they have the off-street parking available, when you look at these cars parked in the street, their driveways are empty. So I know I talked to Jerry about it, but I was just hoping maybe somebody listening to the meeting might hear some of my concerns about this.
Maybe Greg could put it on our township Facebook page, just make sure people pull into their driveways for the plows, make room for the plows, just for the ease of the township workers, something like that. Maybe.
I'll do that.
Are there particular areas that you're concerned about, or is it township wide?
It's township wide, but it's the same people. It's the same cars all the time.
Yeah.
A lot of these people have been warned. Some of these got tickets before, but they just don't feel they need to park in their driveway. They just, you get one parked on one side, then one parked on the other side, and you're trying to slide through the slalom there with a 20-ton salt truck. It just, somebody's gonna. I feel bad if somebody's vehicle hit. It's going to happen, and the guys don't want to do that. But
I don't necessarily want to get to the point of ticketing these folks or citing them, but does it come to that? Is it something, Chief, that you think, Chief and John, do we need to consider this?
So that's what we've done in the past. Normally guys on night turn, our night turn guys are steady shifts. So they know where the problem areas are. I sent a memo out last week after talking to Paul, instructing them that they better take care of it. And we're in a process right now. All our tickets were out of date, fine wise. So I'm working with John. We're going to try to get new tickets made up because that's what I was going to discuss with you guys. See if we should raise the price of the tickets because it was $5. But then after I read into the ordinance a little bit more, come to find out that the fine's actually $30. So I don't think we want to start running around hitting residents with a $30 fine. So what our guys have been doing for the last couple of nights have been issuing we made up some warning notices, attach them to their vehicles if they can't get a hold of anybody, but they've been knocking on doors telling these people that they got to move their cars inside. So it's every year it's a problem, and it's, I don't know if it's the new residents moving in that just aren't up to date on all the ordinances, or if just people just being defiant. So we're keeping track of who we write warnings to. So if it comes down to that it's continually a process, then we'll just have no other choice but to issue parking tickets, $30 parking ticket.
I think that's a
Close
good
that.
point.
Should we start towing?
I don't think you have. I don't think you can legally tow it.
We have to look at that, Jerry. and I can look at
Yeah.
I think if we could just advertise on our Facebook page and on the website and just let folks know, and if you have to provide warnings, obviously, that's a good approach, and we'll just keep monitoring. We've had kind of although it looks like it's going to be a pretty crazy February, yesterday many start calls, so you better.
Let's, as I said, like the first part of the season, nobody gets upset over it. And around the holidays, nobody gets upset because, obviously there's more people, visiting and stuff like that. But like I said, now we're into February. Yeah, everybody should have, should be working on parking in their own driveways especially in the evening.
Thanks. Anything else for Public Works for Paul? Any questions for Paul?
Well, where are we at with the salt shed?
Where are we at with that? It's due to be, the roof is due to be delivered this week.
Okay, great.
As long as it didn't get held up with a snowstorm here.
Okay.
Great, thank you. Dennis from Viola Water Sanitary. You there, Dennis?
Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've submitted our monthly report for the month of January. I'll go over a few highlights. We've treated 43 million gallons with an average daily flow of about 1.4 million gallons. We hauled 132,000 gallons of thickened sludge to McKeesport. And although we don't have all of the laboratory analytical parameters back yet for the month, we expect to be in full compliance with effluent limitations. I will note, looking through the report here, that we had quite a few what I'll call heavy maintenance activities in the month of January. Two of our return activated sludge pumps experienced problems, and we worked on both of those and got those rectified. We also had an electrical problem with the variable frequency drive on our forward flow Godwin pump. And we're able to repair that by sort of thinking outside the box, going away from the OEM, and we're able to get a replacement VFD sooner and at less cost to get back online. So that was a success. And that's about all I have. I can address any questions.
I did notice in the report the number of repairs. That's a high number of repairs, am I correct?
It is. In any one month, the plant is old and certainly at the end of its useful life. There's no question about that. And we're sort of trying to limp these along rather than having a proactive maintenance program where we would be replacing some of this equipment. We're basically running it to failure because we don't want to incur the additional capital, being that the plant's life is short term.
Thank you. Any questions, Dennis, from the Township Commissioners? Okay, Greg, do you have anything to report to us, Greg Butler?
Well, I did send kind of a hit list. I didn't have time to really write a summary report. Some of the highlights from the last week, just quickly. We're still working out the kinks with the ADP payroll system. We have a test run on Wednesday, and then our goal is to run the first real payroll next week before payday next Thursday. Spent a ton of time this past week doing fourth quarter reporting for 2020 and also year-end reporting, W-2s and 1099s. That was quite the scramble. Also working on finalizing and moving forward 2 grants. One is the demolition grant with the SHACOG that supports the properties of the hearing we had earlier tonight. And also there's a resolution that would complete the package for the Greenways Trails grant that Joe L. applied for earlier in 2020. That grant's for $194,067. So that resolution, if it's passed, will support that submission, and he'll have, that's at the end stages, so he'll have an answer in a couple months. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions for Greg or comments? Okay. Mr. Rakunas, any report from the solicitor?
Just two things to report on. We had the demolition hearings earlier this evening on the CD 46 properties. There were only 5 of those. There are another block that we're going to be doing shortly once we get these CD 46s out of the way. I wanted to do those first because the county needed the clearance letters on those. So those will be being scheduled in the future for hearings. Also, the solar ordinance public hearing was held earlier this evening. Public comment was taken. That has been advertised, and I'm recommending passage of that ordinance this evening. That concludes my report unless there's any questions.
Thanks, Mr. Rakunas. Any committee reports from Budget or Finance? Dan, anything to report?
Yeah, so just recently, we had, for the first time in 5 years, we shopped our township insurance policies. We ended up saving about $47,000, got increased coverage and a higher rated company. So that was a big success for us. So what we're looking to do in 2021 is each month, we're just going to attack a different part of the budget where we hadn't bid at in the past. We're going to start, accepting other bids and see if we can't save even more money for the township.
Thanks, Dan. Code enforcement or building inspection, any report?
Yeah, for code enforcement, we actually just met last week on a Zoom meeting with Jen Surse from MBM Law. She handles the foreclosures for the school district. So we're going to try to work with the school district. What we want to do is some of these properties are tax delinquent, vacant properties. In the past, they've let them go until they were, too dilapidated. We had to tear them down. Now we're looking to be a little more aggressive with that. So what we're going to start doing is figuring out an advertising campaign. So the people that maybe address a delinquent tax property they want to buy, we'll show them the process that they can do that through Jen over at MBM Law. And hopefully, to work in our favor, we can get some of these properties back on the tax roll. We're also going to advertise to the township. These will be advertised on our Facebook page for the township and also on the website, the side lot program to the county. There's a program where if you have a vacant tax delinquent property next door to you, there are some different restrictions, but you're able to buy it through a county program. So we're going to start pushing both of those programs. And then me and Andrew took a drive around the township this past weekend just to look at a lot of the blighted properties. We spent most of the morning so we can get a good game plan on what we want to do with those. That's it.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that extra effort driving around, and I know Andrew's not with us this evening, but do appreciate that extra effort. Any report on Parks and Recreation?
Nothing from Parks and Recreation directly, other than it's time for folks to start looking forward to their signups for the ball fields, and Commissioner Algieri and Bert Hunt will be handling that.
Thank you. Personnel, one thing, and that, well, there's several things, but one thing for sure is that on the agenda tonight is to approve the employee handbook that we've been working on. Finally, we have that ready to be approved. That's going to be on the agenda tonight to be approved. Public Safety Police report, anything?
No report this time, President Rocco.
Thanks, Robert. And Sanitation, any report? Kyle?
Nothing more than what John Lowry had to mention, and of course Dave Masiosi. A few things going on with the borough at this point, but nothing to jump up and down about, nothing concrete.
Thank you. Mr. Butler, we have some public comment this evening.
Yes, we do. We will start with Carol Daly.
Yes, Carol Daly. In January, Mr. Rakunas set the solar ordinance hearing for today. And the township, I don't know who's doing the website, but if it's a hearing, it has to be advertised on the website as a hearing, not a review or a meeting. This is very critical. Now, Kunis said that he advertised it. I don't know where it was advertised or what the date, if it was put in the newspaper, what the date was. But the website is, should be corrected. It is a hearing. And the people that were there with their comments said to, it should not be recommended and for you not to vote on this. It needs to be sent back to planning. Now, John had said that he was rewriting some ordinances, but that's planning's job so that the public can pose comments during the process. I had sent a right to know about Dave Masiosi and Maxim Company, and I need to know in November 2020, was Dave Masiosi and his company MACON hired? That's two separate people, two separate entities for the Clerk of Works. And how are they billing? Is Masiosi billing? Is his company billing? How are you paying them? I had informed the company called Maxim, AMAXIM, which was written in the notes, in the minutes rather, and that has never been corrected. I need that name of that company corrected. Who was actually hired? Now, the company called Maxim, MAXIM, says it's not them. So I need that. I need that clarified. Was Dave Masiosi and his company MACON hired, or who was actually hired? And isn't that duplication? I also wanted to know his logs. I wanted to see his logs. So I sent a right to know, inquiring a lot of things about what was going on with that Clerk of Works position. In order for you to continue to approve previous minutes, the public must be able to view them. And I'd like for you to start posting them, like on a Friday, so we can see them. I also like you to start posting the invoices and payments as was done previously. I'd like to know who's being paid and why. Sahara Street is the street that Huntley's supposed to care for. So why aren't they repaving Sahara Street? I'd like to know where the grant money for Jacktown and Forest Hill Road repair is. That's supposed to be like like $500,000. It's been 5 years since Forest Hill's been closed, and I think that is shameful. I'd like to know if anything is going to be done about that meeting.
Carol, that's 3 minutes. Can you wrap it up? Thanks.
Yes, I'd like to know if the Auditor General will be called for that forensic audit. And I also like the repeal of Ordinance 940 and 941. Thank you very much.
Okay, Greg, next.
Okay, we have Russ Verbanek.
Okay, I had a few questions. My first question on the sewer line pump stations has been answered. I thank you. My second thing was on the ordinance number 963 for the solar panels. I think that should be sent back to the Planning Commission. The ordinance is supposed to encourage conservation of energy through the use of solar panels. However, the ordinance imposes a lot of onerous restrictions, particularly on the location of panels on the roofs of houses, so that it makes it difficult to do that effectively. People would have to go to the zoning board, I guess, to get to justify putting solar panels on like the front of their house facing the street. To me, those kind of restrictions are totally unnecessary. And it will also cause additional costs to get a variance, plus several months delay to go through the zoning board. So the ordinance needs to be considerably improved and loosened up so people can get that stuff done without going through the zoning board. Then I had a question on the non-expenditure item number 6, where the motion to transfer Murray Lane property to Elizabeth Township and record the deed. I'm wondering, why is the township taking possession of this property, and what's its final disposition going to be? Are we going to keep it, or is it going to be sold, or what?
I can address that right now. I believe that's property where that bar is located on next to Toilet Field, correct, Matt? Is that Murray Lane?
Yeah, that'll be discussed in the motion.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we vote on it during the discussion period in the motion, Russ. That'll be answered.
Yeah, just a reminder. I mean, it's public comment, so yeah. I mean, you can make whatever comments you want, but your question will be answered in the motion, Russ.
Okay, then my other question was expenditure item number 5, which is the motion to hire Greg Butler. But I was wondering, how many applicants were there for the township manager position, and how many people were interviewed? Can anybody answer that?
Russ, first of all, it's public comment, so we're not engaging in answering a question and answer sessions, but also
Okay.
that's a personnel issue, so we really can't discuss that particular issue. So thank you.
Well, I guess I don't understand why we can't know whether there were a lot of people or a few people interviewed. Okay, and then I was wondering what was going to happen with the office manager position. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay, next we have Ted Grice.
Hello, Ted Grice. So I appreciate the or how you went ahead and allowed there to be the agenda and non-agenda items and so forth like that. And I appreciate the fact that you had all the different committee reports going out, which was a little more detailed than what's going on. And I would appreciate, like, whenever you're saying those things will be discussed during the point in time the votes are on and so forth, I really would appreciate that being done, because that clears up a lot of those things. So my whole theme of what this is trying to get information out. So my concern is that by putting the statement of everyone make their comments at the beginning, then when all the other things run through and there's no other public comment that can be made at the end or anything like that, then when we're at this point where there was a lot of useful, and I really appreciate all the information that was given tonight, it was very informative and I really appreciate it. But like the setup of I looked at previous agendas, and previous agendas would have a department report, a committee report, then the citizens to address, then resolutions, then items for discussions, then ordinances and items for consideration and so forth. And so my only concern is that if there's basically no time to have any public comment or input after. I will beat the shit out of them again. If there was
just now.
Someone needs to mute. Mr. Grice, continue.
Okay, so my only concern is that if like when you guys are discussing things, if there would be a way to have the public comment after that, because there are things come up in the agenda that are not spelled out in those discussions. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then because of that, it gives you a whole meeting, another month to wait before you can make a comment. That was that comment. The other question of concern is there a way to set up dedicated on the website where the legal notices are that are being put out for these different things? Could there be a dedicated place on the website so when you send something to the paper, you hit the legal notice on the website as well, so it's able to be seen without having to worry about, I mean, it's still important to see in the paper because not everyone looks at the township website, let's be honest. But if you were looking, it'd be nice to have it in a location where you'd be able to see it. And the other thing is that the agendas that are on E-code are following from last year. They don't have anything from here for this year. The June 1st meeting of last year and October 5th meeting of last year, the agenda of what was discussed is not located on E-code. So I appreciate that whenever there is the ability to have the Zoom link and it says, here's the agenda, I would also like to see if I could then later go back and look at that agenda on E-code to say what it was, so I could say, hey, I don't need to look at that video. this is the video that I was concerned about. So I appreciate all that you're doing. Thank you for the transparency, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. We are working on, so you know, looking at how to streamline these agendas and meetings, and can appreciate your insight. Obviously, you know, we want to hear from the public. I think that's very important. Obviously, we work for you. So, and we're working to make that, to make it more transparent. So thanks, Ted, for your comments. Greg, was there anyone else, any other comments this evening?
Yes, excuse me, one more, Scott Taylor.
All right, you guys hear me?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Scott Taylor. I'm just going to rebound off of your last comment there, Mr. Rocco. Your transparency is very much appreciated and wanted. And I think a very good start with that would be to go back to the old format of a working meeting in the middle of the month to set the agendas for the first of the month. It could be very much arguable every item on here, these agendas, should have been discussed in public before they were put on the agenda. Yeah, I find it very hard to believe that there was no communication between a quorum of the commissioners to set these agendas. Yeah, and if that does not happen, yeah, there's seriously a problem if one or two people are setting the agenda for the commissioners for the following week. It very much limits the public's ability to engage in any of these things because we don't see the agenda until end of business on a Friday, and we have until Monday this time to get anything done. So if everybody has any comments or questions that we need to make phone calls, you can't do that over the weekend, or it's very difficult to do over the weekend. So I think there's some big strides that could be made to engage the public a little farther if you're truly going to go through with that. That would be my non-agenda item because I actually did sign up to talk for both. Agenda items, resolution for the grant that I did not realize Joelle had started. Maybe you guys can, when you get to it, please tell everybody what that's all about and what that funding will be used for. Non-expenditure items number 6, Maury Lane, you guys touched on that one. Expenditure items number 6, the Interceptor rental agreement with Versailles Borough. I recall that going in front of you guys a couple of years ago. Was that not done, Mr. Rakunas, already? Or is that something that has to be renewed? Maybe you guys can talk about that one a little bit more and what the costs in that are going to be. Expenditure item number 4, talking about this camera system at the Boston Bridge. As much as I agree that it is an awesome idea, has any communications been had with Versailles Borough to cost share similar to what we're doing with Versailles? Even McKeesport, because we would be a direct pipeline for anything that happens in and out of McKeesport. What the monthly fee is involved with that? Is that the $13,000 monthly fee, or is there a monthly fee on top of that number that's given in the report here? Paving program on top of this camera system. And I've talked to my commissioner, Mr. Walk, about this. When are we going to start on Forest Hill? That's been on.
Scott, you're at 3:10. I need you to wrap up.
All right, a little short on my non-agenda items, wasn't I?
We're only doing one.
We need to start spending some money on Forest Hill. I don't know why we don't forego some of the general paving programs and some of these other expenditures and start working on the Forest Hill program. We're talking about residents that cannot access their homes through their own township. They have to go through another county and a township to get into their homes. We need to do something there, guys. I'll wrap it up there. Getting some nice looks on the thing here. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments. Is that it, Mr. Butler?
That's it.
Okay. Thanks again. Okay, we'd like to go to ordinances now. So there's a motion to adopt ordinance number 963 regarding the construction and location of solar energy systems within the Elizabeth Township. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
We have a motion, a second.
Second.
Second, Rich. Any discussion?
Just by way of informing the public, this was part of a public hearing before this meeting at 6:45, so the commissioners are well of it. But this is a proposed ordinance that would regulate solar in the township. It would set up permitting requirements, setbacks, screening, and other regulations relating to residential solar projects.
This was approved by planning. Is that correct, Mr. Rakunas?
Correct. Approved by planning and reviewed and commented by county planning and advertised.
And I might add that the came back really clean from county. There were from very many recommendations, 3 or 4. And Scott asked that question. The commissioners have a chance to read that. Somebody asked that question. Yes, he did. And I was pretty impressed. It came back clean.
A roll call vote, Greg?
Commissioner Walk,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma, Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma, you're not here, right?
He's not here.
Okay, I just want to be sure. Thought I heard a noise. Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes. Okay, motion to adopt resolution 202101 requesting Greenways Trails and Recreation Program grant funding from Commonwealth Financing Authority for $194,067. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
We have a motion, second. Any discussion on this? Greg, you want to talk a little bit about this so we can understand what this was about?
Sure, I'll do my best. So I was contacted. So Joelle Whiteman did submit this in mid to early 2020. So it's been in the queue for a while. I was contacted in December, actually January, excuse me, to the gentleman at the handling the grant realized that. Well, let me back up. So this grant is for it's for a boat launch ramp, and it's for some recreational equipment in Blydale. And the whole idea of the grant is that there's not a township match. What they end up doing is Joelle would provide an assessment based on our industrial appraisal of the properties involved in the grant. So that would be the areas of Blydale that's involved in the grant. And what she did was she underestimated, or she gave a number underestimated. So what the gentleman handling the grant suggested was he upped the value of the properties because this is the collateral for the grant. And therefore that raised the possible funding we could get from, I forget the previous number, but it did go up fairly substantially to $194,067. And all the resolution is doing is restating the grant amount.
That's right. It's not giving us the money. This is just so that the process can continue. Am I correct?
Right. And when that's in place, he can submit it to do the final submission to the committee to award the grants.
Thank you.
My concern, I have a couple questions on it. So my concern here is, these grants are always great to get. I mean, this is a wonderful thing when we're given money, but if you read that, it's going to be restricted to the placement of a boat launch and recreation facilities in Blydale only. Now, we've been talking all along, guys, that we're not going to be going after stuff like this until this comp plan is done. The comp plan should guide things like this. So are we now going to restrict it in the use of this $194,000 to a boat launch? I might also remind you that there's one downriver in Buena Vista about 1.5 miles. There's also one in Sutersville Bridge about 1.5 miles upriver. So boat ramp. Again, grants are great, but is this going to be that restrictive that we have to do that there to get this money? So what else can we use it for?
We could request a change. We could put a request a change at the county.
I
Doesn't mean to
I
say
don't
that
know.
we
I don't
can.
know that you can't. This group, Greenways Trails and Recreation Program, I've never had any dealings, so this is all new to me.
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me. It's a state level grant. I do know that, not county.
Any other comments? Okay, let's have a roll call vote, please, Greg.
Sure. Commissioner Walk,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma, Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes, you never turn money down.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes.
And back to me, Greg, I'll vote yes.
Okay.
Next, resolution, motion to adopt resolution number 2021-02, amending the Elizabeth Township Uniform Pension Plan in accordance with Article 4 of the Pennsylvania Municipal Retirement Law. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second. Thank you. We have a motion. Mrs. Beckwith, a second by Dan. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Walk,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma, Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes. And the final resolution on this area, motion to adopt resolution 202103, authorizing the disbursement of $319,899 in 2020 fire funds from the special fire levy account. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Rogers.
Second.
Second, Joanne. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Walk,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes. Okay, the next section, I know we're, I don't know whether Greg, someone's going to let me share my screen with me, or I could just for a few minutes, want to talk a little bit about the comprehensive plan. So am I going to have authorization to do that?
Yeah, you should.
Okay, thank you. You see, this is our website now, folks. And if you stand down on our website, hope everybody can see this if you're watching in. There's an area there called State of the Township. So I want to thank all the folks that have been volunteering on our comprehensive plan. And we're really getting to the point right now where we're starting to dig down to the information where we're going to need some public input. And that's going to be coming up. We have a meeting on Wednesday to finalize this. But if you've not had a chance to look at the website, I really would, and what we've done under comprehensive plan, again, I think we've done some really great work, and we still need, like I said, we've got a lot to go. But one of the things that we're going to be looking at is a part of the, where it says get involved, and that's really what I want to hit on tonight. If you go to get involved on that, we're looking for, once this activates, and this will be activated in a day or two, we're going to ask you to enter some information, get your feedback, and also include your email address so that we can begin to develop a network of email addresses for folks of the community. Several weeks ago, we sent out cards, information about the comprehensive plan. And again, we are actively going to be looking for some input. So, and obviously this COVID situation has made it difficult to do, or almost impossible to do in-person meetings, but we have had some really good meetings virtually. And I think once we get this off the ground with the community input, we'll be doing some good things. So I just wanted to share with you that that's on our website. I highly recommend taking a look at it. You're going to see some changes even after our meeting on Wednesday night. And also just to thank those folks for donating their time that are on the committee, because this has been usually 2-hour meeting, and it's really a lot of work. And again, I said, if you take a peek at it, you'll see some interesting things relative to what's really happening in our community. And I think for the first time, you really get a sense of, what makes up Elizabeth Township. And, some of the information we talked about just flashed up there on the screen, like our demographics, what's our median age, what's our, some of the education, some of the makeup of our community. Again, I think it really helps us to put a flavor on where we're going and where we're headed and what we want to improve the township. So again, take a look at that. Obviously, it's something that, we want to be transparent. So many people say about that. Well, if you look at what we've done, there's transparency there. And we're going to be looking for more information and input from the community going forward. So I just wanted to take a few minutes this evening to share that. And again, highly recommend that you take a peek and look for some changes in the next couple days once we get that part where we're going to ask you to get involved activated. Thank you. Okay, these are items now for consideration. These are non-expenditure items. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read each one, and then I'm just going to ask for a consent motion. So motion to approve the commissioners meetings dated January 4th, 2021. I need a motion in a second, please.
Motion.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Motion to waive the next number 2. Motion to waive the fee for the Elizabeth Forward Youth Athletics and Tribe Baseball Organization to use the community center to make hoagies on February 11th, 2021 for fundraising. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Second. Thanks, Rob. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And hope you go out and buy a hoagie. Motion number 3, to list for sale the 2004 Pontiac police vehicle on the municipal government auction website. Need a motion in a second, please.
So
Motion. Second.
Dan, Rob, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Motion to adopt the revised Elizabeth Township Employee Handbook.
So moved.
Rob, second.
Second.
Joanne, any discussion? I want to thank Mr. Rakunas for his help on this. And this has been a long time coming. And again, obviously, as we look through this, if it's working for us, we can make revisions as needed.
And Bart, I want to include you in that list of thank yous too. I know that you worked very hard on that, and the personnel committee did quite a great job. Way to go.
Right. Have a roll, not a roll call. We don't need a roll call. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Motion to develop a request for proposals for grant writing services. Need a
So
motion.
moved.
Dan,
Second.
second, Rob. All those in favor? Any discussion on that? Let me talk a little bit about that. We wanted to look at maybe trying to see if there's anybody out there that can help us to acquire some grants. And we thought that at least the person budget, I know Dan's talked about that in our budget meetings, that we probably need to look at that. So Dan, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, we're not going to pay a salary. It's purely going to be, they'll get paid only if they get a grant for us, and they'll get a percentage of the grant. So it won't cost us anything.
Okay. Anyone else want to make a comment on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Number 6, motion to transfer property 525 Maury Lane, property of Elizabeth Township, and record with the Allegheny County Recorder of Deeds. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Motion.
We have Kyle and second for Rob. Discussion. Matt, you want to comment on that a little bit, please?
Yeah, this is a piece of property that's currently owned by the Elizabeth Forward School District. It sits adjacent to one of our ball fields. I can't remember exactly which ball field is this next to.
Field.
Quayle Field.
Quayle Field, and it used to be the old Roberts Lounge Bar.
Okay. So the idea, I think, is that they're going to deed it to us for $1, and we're going to take ownership of the property. We will tear down the building and use that, I believe, for additional parking, maybe concessions, and some other items associated with the ball field.
That's all correct.
Any other comments or discussion? Not roll call, sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, these next 8 items are expenditure items, so we'll be asking for roll call votes on these. So number 1, motion to approve the general fund warrant dated February 1st, 2021 in the amount of $477,125.84. I need a motion and a second, please.
Motion.
Joanne?
Second.
Second, Kyle? Any discussion? Roll call, please, Greg.
Commissioner Walk,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes. Number 2, motion to approve the sanitary fund bill warrant dated February 1st, 2021 in the amount of $215,127.53. I need a motion and a second, please.
Motion.
Rob, motion.
Second.
Dan, second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Walk,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes. Expenditure item 3, motion to approve the sanitary bond requisition number 81 in the amount of $1,541,321.88. I need a motion and a second.
Oh, President Rocco,
Yes,
there was an update to that number. Maybe you didn't get it.
I'm
So,
sorry, go ahead.
Matt, should I just state the correct number?
Yes.
Okay, it's $1,535,862.70.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
That was due to the addition of 2 additional invoices today.
Thank you, I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
That's okay.
I did run that agenda item 3 times today, and I didn't catch that. Thank you. I need a motion.
So moved.
Joanne,
Second.
Second, Rob. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Walk,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes. Motion passes. Number 4, motion to approve the purchase of license plate recognition camera equipment and licenses from Security Consulting for the intersection at Boston Ridge for $13,118 and a monthly fee. I need a motion and a second, please.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, during public comment came up about, do we have a rough idea of what the monthly fee is also?
You already got it?
Yeah, I can
So-
comment on that. Oh, go ahead, Jerry.
No, good, Greg.
That fee is for the equipment and the licenses. There was an estimated $1,600, was it per month, Jerry? For internet? That's
No, it was, I actually
the
got an
year.
updated quote, so it's
Right here.
it's like $98 a month for internet.
Chief, is that the only monthly fee for that?
Well, there monthly fee, yes. There are yearly fees, which are a maintenance program and licensing fees for cameras. So
Okay. And do you know roughly how much those will be?
the maintenance plan is $500, and it's per camera. It's for the licensing fee. It's every 2 years though. It's $260 a year for a licensing fee.
Okay.
And Chief, you certainly recommend this and believe it's a good thing to move in the direction with this. Is that correct?
I do. I believe any technology we can utilize benefits us all, especially, sometimes there's 2 guys scheduled on a shift. So we could be on the back end of the township and there'd be a robbery or burglary or some serious crime in the northern section of the township. By the time we get there, the suspect's already gone back across the bridge. So
And I know
I
that
think-
I do appreciate your extra effort on that. And I do noticed in your report that you're looking into the Weigel Hill cameras as well. So
we are.
we'll hopefully
Yeah.
do that.
Wiggles Hill was in the works by Chief Crestis. He set that off with Forward Township. So we didn't reach out to Versailles just for the fact. I'm not going to discuss their financial situation over there, but McKeesport, since we're members of this, we get to view McKeesport's, they'll get to view ours. So
It's a reciprocal agreement.
yeah.
That was a question I think someone from the community had but so we are going to be able to share services. And again, I just think it's a great effort on your part to do this. And we need a roll call, but we have a motion. Second, we need a roll call, please.
Commissioner Walk,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick. Might be muted.
Rob, you there?
Yes.
All right. Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes. Motion passes. You okay, Rob? Want to make sure you're okay over there.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Hey, buddy, no problem. Just want to make sure you're alive. This Zoom thing, it's hard to look at people when you're not. Number 5, motion to hire Greg Butler as the township manager at a salary of $78,000 a year with a 3-year contract. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Kyle, we get a second on that?
We did.
Okay, good. I couldn't hear
Who was the second?
the second.
Rich Algieri.
Rich Algieri.
All right, thanks.
Any discussion? A roll call?
Yeah, Bart, real quick, one of the questions came up about what were we gonna do with the office manager position? We should probably address that now.
Yeah, let's I'll address it, but I think the key is once we have this individual tonight and we can comment on that. So why don't we do it and then I'll make a comment. How's that? So we need a roll call.
Commissioner Walk,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes. Motion passes. Congratulations, Greg. And I think, as a group of individuals, we collectively agree that we want you to lead us through these next 3 years for sure, maybe longer. But I think, and speaking to that issue, you're going to bring to these commissioners issues that you think are important to move the township forward. And we're going to look to your leadership. So if it's an office assistance, secretary, manager, whatever we have in the budget to do that, I think those are things we can consider. But again, I think the key for all of us is to let you, in your leadership, drive the chart, drive the show. And I think that's really, really important for us. It's a change of maybe what we've done in the past, but we're going to move in that direction. I'm going to drive that as much as I can, because I think that's how this will be effective in operating the community. I think it speaks volumes too that you did get unanimous support from us in doing this. So we do believe in you, and hopefully you'll lead us in the next to the next level. So congratulations. You want to say anything, Greg?
Thank you for your votes, and look forward to working with you. I have been for a while, and I think it's going to work out great. And let's just open communication and be honest about what needs done. Thanks again.
Congratulations, Greg.
That's Greg.
Thank you.
Okay. Expenditure item number 6, motion to approve the updated Interceptor trunk line rental agreement with the Sales Borough.
Hey, Bart.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to pull item 6. I had a follow-up conversation with Versailles solicitor that this needs to be bumped. This agreement, we've had this agreement in place with Versailles for many, many years, but there's an issue that's come up recently that I need to push that until I have further discussion with her.
Excellent. Thank you, Matt. We'll pull that. Motion to approve the number 7. So actually number 6, but number 7. Motion to approve the preparation of paving bid specifications by KLH Engineers for Henderson Road, Patterson Road, Schweitzer Road, Halsing Street, Park Avenue, Chicago Avenue to Dead End, Benchoff Street, Gogol Avenue, Sarah Street, Shaler Street, Pitt Street, Halkett Alley, Alley of Oberdick Drive, Wolf Drive, and Browns Lane. I need a motion and a second, please.
Motion.
We have a motion by Joanne, second.
Second.
Second, Rich. Any discussion?
Oh, yeah. So see on this list here that those Schweitzer Road and Holsting Street may have water company work done. John and Larry, is there a way that we can find out from the water company what their intentions are in the next year or two with these streets?
Yes, I think as you guys know, I do a little bit of work with PA American, and I can reach out to their operations department, and I will I'll find out before we do anything on those roads what their intention is.
Yeah, that'd be great.
John, you'll do that on any of these roads? That would be my thing. I noticed on that summary report that it listed that there was possible work. I mean, I'm sure that the Pennsylvania American Water has some plan where they decide what roads to repair or whatever.
Yeah, President Rock, what I'll do is I can definitely take that list and I'll email it over to my contact at PA American, and I'll just ask them, you know, if they have any work scheduled in the near future, and I'll report back, and we won't do anything obviously if they're going to be working there.
Well, I think we wanted to get this on the agenda so that we can move forward, because we know it's going to be time to do this thing.
Yep.
Yeah, I had a question from a resident too as to how we go about making this list, and I believe that was through KLH and Paul and John Snelson, and then these roads are listed according to the worst back to the best, so to speak, and that we're picking off the worst roads at this point. Is that kind of how it's done?
John, do you want to answer that question?
Me or Mr. Snelson?
I actually think that's Paul.
Yeah, back in 2016, we had a road study done, and it was everything, all the township roads were graded according to condition 1 through 10. And we've been working through the list, you know, obviously worked with the worst ones first and working backwards. But that's another question I had is the road study is 5 years, almost 6 years old now. Something maybe we have to look at is getting redone, because some of the roads are deteriorating faster than others. So I think we need an updated grading schedule on them.
Okay, good comment, Paul.
That would be great, Paul. Is something that you can begin to do?
Yeah, I was looking to see what last time we did it was was actually approved in 2015. I pulled the minutes, but the cost was $12,000 to do the complete township study. Like I said, we're working off that list now. We're approximately, well, we're working number 5s right now is where we're at. So a lot of them, like I said, they're 5 years old, and there's some roads I've been watching just in the last 2 years here. They're actually falling apart in front of our face, you know, from the weather. And but that's why I said I think we need to look at getting another study done.
Let me understand then, that's done in conjunction with KLH, so John Murray and would arrange to have that done. And then the cost that you mentioned, $12,000, is a fee that we pay to KLH.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, last time it was done, it was KLH did it. I didn't even know it existed till I was went into this position. So
thanks, Paul.
All right.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Walk.
Just have one more comment now. There's listed here.
You're breaking up.
There's listed on an alley off of Oak Drive. This is where I live, so I'm familiar with this. This is an area that's just used by the residents to access their backyards, or in some cases, separate garages that have been built along this way. my knowledge, it's a gravel road. I'm not sure why we're spending money. I'm not even sure who owns this alley, to be honest with you. It's right away between a bunch of properties. It's definitely not a publicly accessed road. Definitely not. The only people that would drive there would be the people that have a garage on the road. I was surprised to see it on here. You got any comment, Paul, on how that got on here for in-house paving?
Yeah, we've maintained that as long as I've been, like for 28 years, Kyle.
You push the snow off of it too?
It's salted and plowed and asphalted. We've asphalted it twice since I've been here, so.
I haven't walked up through there lately. What's up there now? Who would access? I've never seen anybody up.
There's, I almost positive there's at least 5 houses, maybe 6 houses. Use that as like a rear entrance and parking back there.
Okay. All right, that's it. I'll vote yes.
Roll call, Greg?
Okay. Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes. And number 8, which is actually number 7 now because we eliminated 6. Motion to increase the crossing guard hourly rate to $9 an hour. Need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Rob, second.
Motion.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Obviously, I think this is something that's long overdue, and we've been talking about it the last several meetings. So a roll call, please.
May I ask a quick question internally here?
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't add an effective date, but can we determine an effective date?
I want to say by the time we're going to say March 1, beginning March 1st.
Okay.
Give you some time to process. Is that good?
Yeah, it's good for me. I just wanted to be clear, that's all.
Let's go
So,
March 1st.
March 1st, 2021.
Yep.
Okay, Commissioner Walk,
Yeah.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes. Okay, that concludes our meeting. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Dan, second.
Second.
Joanne, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Have a safe evening, guys. Thanks all for being here.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.